All right, so in this one, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into restoring and recovering and trying to get your computer running in operational shape again. So, first thing I want to talk about, and probably this is kind of like the fallback. This is not your first solution, but if you don't have it set up, you can never fall back to it. And that is system restore. So we can go ahead and open that one up. It helps if I can type in. So I went to create a restore point, and then we have the system restore option here. So first, I always suggest you come in here and configure it and make sure that it is turned on. If you don't have it turned on, you can't use this. So if your computer has failed and you have no other options, you might be up a creek. All right, and this has happened to my brother. Man, that was a fun day because he was in another state. We're just going over phone, and I'm talking to him. He's explained the problem to me, and we're both Googling, trying to come up with the answer, and he's not at home, so he doesn't have his full supply of SD cards and memory sticks and programs to download and internet and everything else. So trying to do everything over the phone without any other options. And all he had for internet was on his phone. So no computers for him to really be working with either. And we were able to actually get him through the command prompt, through the system repair options in the startup menu to actually get his computer booted again. And I was like, yeah, you might want to back up all the important things on that computer. And I highly suggest you enable this. So anyway, system restore. And basically this is going to allow you to undo undesirable changes by reverting your computer to a previous point in time. All right, so highly suggest you turn it on. Current usage, that's the fun question part. The larger your usage here is, the more restore dates you'll have. So you'll be able to go back maybe 1 day or 2 months or 5 months. It really depends on how much space you have here. For me, with my 240 gig hard drive on this computer as my main SSD, I don't have that much free space available. I think I'm only down to like 30 gigs right now, which, as we talked about in another video, you don't want to max out your SSD. You want to keep some extra space there to help keep it having a long life, or a longer life at least. So I have mine set to 11 gigs, or roughly 5% of my hard drive. But if you can make it bigger, just going to make your options better when you're trying to restore things. So I highly suggest you got to make this big enough that you can at least put one in there, which for me, the minimum size is 2.2 gigs. So I'm going to stick with the 10 gig option. And you can see currently I'm using 9 of those. So 11 gigs, probably better if I go to 15 or something, but you don't always have that option. So highly suggest you turn that on in the first place. And here you can see some different protection settings for the different drives. So my D drive, as you can see, that is turned off. Now my media data, my external hard drive, those are all just data. Those are not Windows. So this is not the correct type of restore that we want to do for those. You want to just do a normal backup, a RAID, an external hard drive, which obviously, as I said, is what my external one drive is. So that is my backup there. So this is for your Windows operating system. All right. So if you want to manually create one, you can go ahead and use that create button right here, and that will allow you just for whatever point in time, you can create one. However, system restore does automatically create some restore points for you. So here you can see that I actually have 3 different restore points on my computer. All right, I have my automatic restore point, which the system created. I have a Windows update. So that was when Windows was going to update. It said we're going to create a point just in case something goes funky. You can always come back to that. And when I recently installed the webcam software for my DSLR, that was that. So you can see I'm actually going back a little, or just about almost a month at this point. So very nice to have those 3 different options. You may have to click the show more restore points buttons, but really good idea to have this enabled, and it'll allow you to fix your computer in the case that something goes bad. This does take some time to do, and the other real benefit to this is you can do this from the bare bone Windows when there's a problem, there's a blue screen, you're having problems. From that startup location, you are able to actually do a system restore if you have restore points enabled and created. So highly suggest that for recovering from errors. All right, so that's one thing we can do. We can also go into startup and recovery. Oh, helps if I actually get the whole thing right. Startup, startup, and helps if I type the right thing. Advanced systems settings, and I really cannot. There we go. All right, and that brings us to this little window here. And then if you go into startup and recovery settings, this is dealing with when you do get that blue screen of death on your Windows computer. Now, many of you, or all of you, probably have experienced this at some point. I don't know if you've experienced it with Windows 10, but it's a little bit different with Windows 10 compared to previous versions of Windows. All right, so system startup. If you have multiple versions of Windows or Windows and Linux installed on your computer, here we can actually pick which operating system is the default, which is kind of nice. Down here is the really important part, the system failure. So first we can write an event to the system log. So, allows you to troubleshoot. Hopefully all your errors are these like one-off things that just never come up again. So you don't, it happened, you look into it real briefly and there's nothing like really to do and you're all good to go right after that. However, not always going to be the case. So you want to have a log when those types of things happen. Now this automatically restart, this option is one that you may want to change, especially if an error is recurring, all right? And you don't have time to write down the error code. So again, for those who have experienced the Windows 10 crash screen, it's a blue screen, normally has a QR code on it somewhere, and there's normally an error code written down. So that way you can copy that down and search on either another computer or yours when it reboots, all right? So, but sometimes, man, Windows collects that data so quickly that you don't have time to either write down the entire code or whatever it is. So if this is something that's constantly happening, unchecking this automatically restart will allow you to actually let the screen sit, allow you time to write down the error code, take a picture of it, whatever, and can actually be able to then research things. So extremely helpful. The fact that it restarts by itself is very nice, so it's not something that you have to manually go do. At the same point, it is nice that you have that option to disable it when you do have these problems. However, you have to be able to boot into Windows to uncheck that box. So depending on when your error is happening, might be a problem. All right. So we have an automatic memory dump. You have some others. So we have small, kernel, complete, automatic, or active. So again, pick which one that you want. And then this allows you to go, where is it going to? Where is it going to go? So in my case, system root %/memory DMP is where this is going to go. All right. For those of you who do not know, the %system root % is the Windows folder on your C drive. So if I just go in my file path, I type that out, boom, takes you right to it. So it's the C drive and then Windows. All right. I don't have a memory dump currently on my computer, so I can't show you that file, but that is where it's going to put it. Now we do have overwrite existing files, so it's going to constantly just rewrite it again and again and again, which probably overall is going to be fine, because either you're going to have the same error over and over again, so re-editing that memory dump file is not going to be in the world. However, you do have, again, the option to disable that, so it doesn't rewrite it. You also have this disable automatic deletion memory dumps when disk space is low. I also may have deleted mine last time I was doing some cleanup, especially in that last video. So something that you might want to be aware of. I don't know how large these files get, but they could be of some legitimate large sizes. So something that you do need to be aware of. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that random reboot that happens, that is intentional. All right, that is Windows trying to repair itself and get back up and running. So next thing that you might want to look into is your application settings. Add or remove programs. So come on, there we go. All right, so if we come down here, you can see all the different things that I have installed on my computer, many of which do have the option for a repair built into them. So like here's my Windows Office Professional. I can do a modify. I go ahead and hit yes, and then a lot of times, or often, especially if there's that modify button is available, here we go. We can have add or remove features, repair, remove, or we can enter a product key in this case. So, but it's nice being able to have that repair option, and I think this actually, well, it's going to go right into it. Sometimes there are multiple different repair options. There's a quick repair and there's a long repair. So this isn't actually a repair I need to do, so let me just go ahead and cancel the setup. But there is that option for repairing, so especially if it's a software-related issue, something you may want to look into. And this is an issue that I have on my work laptop. For some odd reason, Access won't let me launch it. And it's like, oh, there's this problem. So I'm like, okay, let me repair it. I repair it. It didn't fix it. Right? Not a big surprise, but hey, it's an easy enough test. And I did tried both of them. And then I did it once on my laptop. This is the second time it's happening now because I had to get my laptop completely wiped for other problems. But anyway, Did it once and it actually uninstalled Office and was going to get reinstalled again, and then it errored out because it was like, well, Office is the 32-bit's already installed. We can't install 64-bit. So sometimes that modify will get you into trouble, especially if you don't have the installers around. But it is a good option. It's a good something to have. Just keep in the back of your mind. All right. And the last thing is troubleshooting in the settings app. All right. So if we go ahead, open up settings, and I'm just going to search for it to make my life easier. So we have a whole troubleshooting section. So on the left-hand side, here's troubleshoot. All right. So a lot of different information going on here. We have internet connections, playing audio, printers, updates, other problems with Bluetooth, keyboards, network adapters. So they have all of these different troubleshooters built in to help you figure out what is going on with your computer is what it comes down to. All right. So it's a good place to come and look. And again, not guaranteed that's going to fix the problem. I don't have any big issues right now, so I can't really walk you guys through like, oh, here, I'm having this issue. Let's see if this troubleshooter can fix it. I'm not having those problems. All right. But this is a good place to come look when you are having those problems, especially with sharing folders. Man, that can be rife with issues. Lots of problems. Set up for my dad at home using Windows built-in sharing system, and it just never works out well. Don't follow the system, just do it manually. And I think everything works better when you just do it manually than trying to go through Windows sharing folders thing. But tried this, there's always some sort of problems here and there, but something just to kind of look into in the long run. So that's kind of the starting of troubleshooting. Your book does cover a whole bunch more options for you. Not what I wanted. Anyway, so the book does go into a whole bunch more options with dealing with registries, device problems. We did talk about Device Manager a little bit. You can roll back drivers if those are types of problems. It talks about the RE set via the settings. So there are all sorts of ways that you can boot to if you need to boot into the safe mode type of thing. So Windows does talk about doing that. So all sorts of options when it comes back to recovering your computer.